Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of First and Go. I don't know how to say, man, but I feel refreshed. I don't know about you guys. I feel like a new me has it. New year, new me. Can I still say that? Happy New Year?
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a couple weeks to catch up on. So without further ado, Luis, go ahead and take it off, man.
Yeah. So we've been off a couple of weeks. I think we've lost a little bit of momentum. We were just talking about it before getting on the show. I think everybody forgot about the Super Bowl, but we didn't get a chance to just get our feedback on it. So just to dive into it, I'll start with you, Sal. The Chiefs ended up beating the 49ers and in overtime. So the game itself I thought was very exciting, but what were your takeaways after watching the game?
Well, I don't know if disappointed is the word. I was disappointed because I did pick 49ers to win. Um, I think the final score was 31-21.
Mhm.
Hats off to Chiefs capitalizing on fluky
Mhm.
plays. But I mean, like, whatever, they pulled it off. But it was just this is the way the ball rolls, the ball bounces, whatever the saying is. I just remember that one play, the punt where
Yeah.
the guy caught for a cat, and then he let it bounce, and then ended up hitting one guy in the foot, and Chiefs recovered. Stuff like that. It just like kind of fluky. Missed
Mhm.
extra point. The botch blocking on Chris Jones. You
Mhm.
know, that guy's probably the best defensive player out of the
Wide
postseason, and
open,
it was just
right through.
it's just bad. You had a Uke open and Jennings, but
Mm,
it is what it is. So that's not how they said. It just looks like 10 years from now, 15. No one's gonna bring that up. It doesn't look
bingo. Yep.
Super Bowl champion. The outcome MVP, and you know that's it, man. But other than that, I don't know what you got.
What about you, Dan?
Well, listening um to Sal talk, then I guess my what I took off of it is how well coached the Chiefs are. Because
Mm,
even in last year's Super Bowls, all we talked about were the one mistake by the Eagles, right? Hurt
mhm.
fumbled the ball, and in this Super Bowl, we're talking about McCaffrey fumbled the ball, the
Yeah.
punt, the PAT. It it seems like the Chiefs just know how not to beat themselves in the playoffs. One of them is Mahomes, but just overall their team um, knows how to focus, or they're just better coach or whatever you want to say. But I can't. I was trying to think of a counter to sell as to, okay, well, the 49ers, because usually in games, both teams kind of give and take, and
Sure.
there's turnovers and penalties and all that. But I couldn't think of anything that stood out from this year or last year's Super Bowl from the Chiefs.
Gotcha. Okay. What did you guys think about when the next day everybody was playing Monday morning quarterback? What did you guys take any? There was just two things real quick. So they made a big deal. They went into overtime and fucking the 49ers deferred, right? No, they took the ball. They won the toss
No, they
and
defer.
No, the
the
49ers won. They won.
49ers they
49ers
they
won and they picked.
they
No, they
Oh
received.
no, they
they
received.
received, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that yeah,
yeah, they
so they
received.
received and the big deal was made out of it and then the players that were unsure about, the overtime rules. Uh you know, we'll start with you this time, Adan. Like what did you feel about that, that narrative?
I thought it was overblown. I don't think. Uh, I think if they could have scored a touchdown, they would have tried to score a touchdown. So I don't know if them not knowing the rules really played a big deal in at least their initial drive, right? Them knowing that
Mhm.
if they scored and the other team, then either way they should have been trying to score a touchdown, because if they
Yeah.
thought that the game ended with a touchdown, then their whole purpose was let's score a touchdown and not even give them a chance. I thought, in my opinion, they decided to receive because the defense had been out there like the almost the second half of the fourth quarter, right? Like they were just
Hmm.
Mahomes was just driving on them. I figured the defense is tired. They're gonna give them a chance to rest, see if they could score first, put the pressure on Mahomes. Like you said, the Monday morning quarterback, then but now it led to this and the what ifs.
Mhm.
But at that point of the game, I didn't think it was a bad call. When you look at the results, like any sport, if the results are good, then it was a good play, a
Mhm.
good call. And if they're not, then you question everything.
What about you, Sal?
Yeah, I agree. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like you said, the only thing I have, as a head coach, like I don't know if it was confirmed or not, or just people just kind of speculated that Shanahan didn't know the rules for the for the overtime, for in the playoffs. Obviously you can't end with a tie, so I guess,
Or
uh,
supposedly the players. They were saying that the players didn't know, some of the players, not all of them, and then that they never really talked about, they didn't prepare for it.
right.
Supposedly,
That's the thing. Yeah,
compared to like
that's right.
Kansas City, which supposedly they made a big deal out of it because they
Yeah,
won.
and like I said,
Yeah.
I'm be honest too. Like I'm guilty of it. I didn't know until my brother brought it up and asked, like, what? I'm like, oh shit, that kind of makes sense, because fucking you can't end this shit in a tie. Um, and that's exactly what happened. But at the end of the day, like I said, um, I don't see nothing wrong with receiving. You want the ball back, you want to put the points up. At the end of the day, I'm sure their mentality was to score a touchdown.
Hmm.
Like I'm like I didn't think they were like, well, let's like try to get a touchdown. Obviously, try and not a field goal, and then they'll try to hold them back or whatever. But I'm sure they're one of these get a touch. Now that's not what happened. Whatever. It didn't work out. I feel like I don't know if they deferred and KC kicked and they scored a touchdown. Then I mean, the game plan would still be to go drive touchdown. The only
Yeah.
difference would have been it's on fourth down. Well, but now mandatory, you got to go for it. But all
Yeah.
I would have done was had the game. But I said, I don't know. I don't think I think it was overblown. Uh, you don't go in there, with the Super Bowl receiving with the mentality of like they just put points on the board and see what happens, and just stop them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's one thing if you're going up against I don't know, just fucking name any other fucking team in the playoffs. But like they know who's on the other side. It's Andy Reid and Mahomes and Kelsey.
Yeah.
And and this is their time to shine. This is uh you know what
Yeah.
fucking seems like they were built for. So like at the end of the day, like I'm sure the mentality we gotta score, and that fucking Chris Jones
No.
um
Yeah.
pressure, they just give me. But I said I think it was overblown. I don't see what the big deal was.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, honestly, when I was watching the game live, I didn't think twice about it, really. It was only afterwards. And the only thing that I found interesting, it was more like a strategy. So I was just more interested in the strategy, um, where Mahomes was giddy a little bit about that. He was like a little bit surprised that they won the toss and that they decided, because he went right away to the sidelines like, hey, they want the ball. And then right away his teammates like, yeah, we would have won it, we would have kicked it. And this was before anything had happened. Like they could have before it. So I'm just saying it was interesting to me that like they did have a strategy. Like they were set that their strategy that they would be in a better position, if they would kick the ball off to the 49ers. So, but at the end of the day, if 49ers score a touchdown and then they stop Kansas City, then this is a pointless, right? It's a mute point. So, but then that's not what happened. It just made it a little easier, right? For KC to then all they have to do is kick a field goal, and I think the game's over. Um, according, the way that the rules are set up. Okay, so really, so last two quick things. One last thing on the Super Bowl, and then I was hoping that Adan, you could bring up the end of the year, our picks for the end of the year. But real quick, it didn't make a lot of things. It's just because I like Andy Reid. Um, what was your initial thought when you saw Travis Kelsey, getting all excited on the sidelines and bumping Andy Reid, and Andy Reid kind of like losing his balance there for a second? Did you guys just like, hey, it's the Super Bowl, and that's how emotions get higher? You're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Bumping the coach. Andy Reid's a pretty cool dude. So, why don't we start with you, Sal? When you saw that, if you saw it live or saw it after the fact, like, what were
No, I
your
saw it
reactions
live.
on it? You saw it live?
Yeah, I saw it. And to be honest, it kind of pissed me off.
Mhm.
One, for a couple of reasons too. Like when I saw that, like when I see that, like I think of like what's it? Um, you gotta. So what I'm looking for, you gotta. There should be a level of respect. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's the chain of command. And
Mhm.
you don't show off your coach. I don't know for especially it's not like the fucking the game was over at that on that player or
Yeah,
whatever. I
that's
don't
pretty
remember.
good.
Like fucking it was a fucking I don't remember the fucking what the play was. But what you don't show your coach off is it sends a fucking bad message to the team or whatever. I said maybe they have that kind of relationship, but no. And then another thing too that pissed me off is like it was someone else. I think AJ Brown had tweeted like if that was
Yeah.
him, he would have been
Oh
fucking
yeah, he'd be
you know.
sent
And,
home
and
to
it's
the
true.
that
Yeah, no,
that
it is
was
true. Like
yeah.
Kelsey could do it. Tom Brady could do it. They
Mhm.
could bark at it, and then like, oh, that's passion. Same shit. We touched on the subject before, but
Yeah.
someone else of maybe of color or whatever saying,
Mhm.
or not so favorite, you do it. As a prima donna, and how dare they this and that. But yeah, besides that, first thing is like, man, you don't do that. I would have the Super Bowl, like Andy Reid held his composure, but I just don't like that. Like it's just
Mhm.
the chain of command, and like the um, to do that on that stage was pretty bad. But whatever, they didn't bring it up again. I don't think they even brought it up on. Maybe they did. I
They
didn't pay attention to the shows during the week, but
made light of it, and then they kind of apologized a little bit, and then
yeah,
that was it.
no.
It was
Nah, if it was
done.
Terrell Owens or shit like that, or someone
Oh
like that, it would have been fucking. He would have been like, should he get caught? Would you pick
yeah.
him up?
Right.
And blah blah blah.
Right.
He's washed up now. Whatever. So
Right. What about you, Dan?
I didn't think it was a big deal at all. So I think you some To or some other players, you know, what's his name, Brown, right? Like
Antonio.
they have a reputation. So it's kind of like, okay, well, that is going along with their reputation. I don't think Kelsey has that kind of reputation of being that kind of player, and I'm pretty sure I've heard um the him and Andy Reid just like messing with each other. Like they
Mm.
just kind of. And you mentioned this, Sal, like they have that kind of reputation. But uh, I also thought that Andy Reid kind of overreacted. To be honest, I didn't. It didn't feel like Kelsey went in with too much momentum. He got in there. He was upset. They were struggling their first. I don't know how many drives, 3 4 drives. They were kind of struggling. And he probably wanted Reid to call plays to get him the ball. It seemed like he stumbled when he didn't have to stumble. That's maybe he just lost his balance, but I don't think Kelsey was like too aggressive. And I just
That's
felt like
funny. All
they have
right.
that they have like that friendship. I would call
Sure.
it friendship. That they're able to like be honest with each other. And that's what I thought of. But some of the people that were at the game,
Mhm.
they were just there for Taylor Swift. Like they were
Mhm.
like some of my uh, Simon's kids and his wife,
Sure.
and so everybody was giving them a hard time. It's like, oh, is this the kind of guy that you would want dating your daughter? This scumbag, but Taylor deserves better.
That's funny. All right. No,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
just all right. I get it. It's just you're the first guy I've heard blame Andy Reid for getting bumped. That's a different. All right, different take. I get it.
Yeah, fucking jerk move.
It's like it's his fault. Should have better balance. Fucking weak ass old coach. Like
Yeah, fucking
no, but
70-year-old fucking
I
overweight.
Caught him off guard, but I don't think he went
you got to be ready at all times.
flopping, bro. Fucking technical for flopping.
So I'm more in line with Sal, just kind of old school. Like it's your head coach, like you're one of the leaders in the team. All the cameras are there, and then part of me is one of my pet peeves. I get annoyed when guys, I don't care what sport it is, I always think of boxers. Somebody's getting their ass whooped. The referee stops the fight, and then he wants to take it all out on the referee and get all energetic and bark. And why did you? I'm like, dude, stop. Why are you going at your do it on the fucking field? You know what I mean? Like that's my old pet peeve. Like all of that is just dramatics. Like fucking go look at your stupid iPad and then bring that energy in the field. Like what's Andy Reid? You know what I mean? He can't help you, man. You've been in the NFL too long. So I
Yeah,
was
I
more
think
annoyed with him.
Do we
that's
know
another
what
thing
he
too. Like
said?
that guy. What,
Do we know what he said? Does
I
that
forgot
ever
what the
come
play.
out?
I think the ball should have came to
So
him or something like that, or and they ran
yeah,
a funny play or something. It was I
there
forgot
was
what
like
it
a
was.
there was a fumble, and I think he was not in that play, I think,
Hmm.
and he wanted like so he got annoyed that he wasn't even on the field. Like to not give
Yeah.
up on him, to like,
But I think he
Oh.
got hurt or something because they put I think the tight end that they put in there, Gray, fumbled it or something like that, didn't it?
I think so. I think you're right. I think so. He was like upset, like he should have been on the field. I can't remember why. Maybe that's, I thought it was fumble related.
Like I said,
So,
I don't have a problem if you guys have, they get relations like that, but I just don't like to see that. I just don't. Like
yeah.
maybe to them they laughed about it, and whatever. That's on them. Personally. It's like me and you when you guys are coaching us, to just whatever, like I wouldn't do that in front of your family or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They just say whatever the kid. I don't know. We're fucking some kind of league or we're playing a game. You guys, you're coaching me, whatever. I'll probably be passionate. I'll probably be yelling, hey, whatever. I'll put my 2 cents in, but I don't know. I just to do that, like even if you get along like that, like it's the way it's perceived and stuff like that, and But at the same time, he's been along. He's earned his fucking stripes already, and probably he don't really care. As I said, we don't know what's going on, but just me seeing that with anybody, I don't. It just don't.
Showing off another player now that is different. I thought he just went up to him and was like, call more plays for me. But if he was actually talking shit about another player being in the field instead of him, that's shady. Not to Andy Reid, but to the other tight end, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. And then Adon, how did we finish up the season? I know, it was pretty much wrapped up. We just had the one last game, but how did
we gotta
the
do
first
better,
and GOAT
guys.
crew do for the
I hit
season?
the final up to the Super Bowl. Really bad fucking ending for me here. I'm that wrong. I should.
So everybody watching at home,
Damn.
63%, Luis 57%, Adon 58% for total for the whole season, playoff, Super Bowl.
Hey, about 50%. I'm gonna guess that's pretty good. Now, next year, I think we're gonna go with like the odds, right? Not just the upright winner. Because I think El Bookie probably would have gotten more right because he bets on the odds.
Yeah, sometimes yeah.
Not just the upright winner. Sometimes the odd is 7 points and they only lose by 5 and El Bookie gets it right.
Yeah. I agree
now
with
we'll see. I plan on keeping my target at 70. I want to see as close as I can to 70. I think this is because we're keeping track. I think I overthought, and then I just listened to outside sources or whatever. I paid to it. So, but yeah, we'll see. And then to be honest, it's for fun. You can score the game. But I said betting wise, I don't see the list I would bet. Like with a straight up or against the spread. But they were just like there's some things like I was on like, man, fuck this. If I had to put money on it, like I just wouldn't. I would just stay away from some turning games. But I said nonetheless, it was fun. I'm keeping my target I think at 70%. See how close I can get to it.
There we go. The CBK, the comeback kid.
I love that shit. Hell yeah. Well, good stuff. Solid season. But yeah, we're gonna do better next year. Fully confident about it. Little fun fact, I mentioned that earlier. I think the viewers at home would appreciate it. Back-to-back Super Bowl picks. The only one.
That's what matters. That's what matters.
When it matters. When it matters. 2-0. I think we've only done it 2 years, right?
I didn't pick I picked the Eagles last year. Why did they lose?
We both picked the
Eagles.
Eagles.
Or was they just?
It was a close game last year, right?
Yeah, it was really close too.
But was there a fluke or something like that, or
a fluke? What do you mean?
Like if it was kind of like
a bullshit call or something like that, or not, right?
No, the only thing I can remember was that fumble in the first half. The Eagles were just going up and down, and that opened the window.
All right, so guys, shifting gears a little bit here. So I'm glad we kind of touched base. We wrapped up the NFL season. We're gonna look forward. We'll be talking more NFL too, especially with the draft. When is the draft coming up? I've lost all train of thought. Like I've completely lost on the.
It's the next
Thursday? April.
Oh, it's in
April. No. Yeah,
there's something going on this weekend or next weekend, right? Like under the winter meetings or whatever they call them.
Oh yeah.
So this is where they're saying a bunch of the trades for the draft.
The 25th to the 27th is This
The
is the draft,
draft,
April
right?
25th. Yeah,
Yeah.
April 25th, 27th through the 27th.
So
Wait,
make
April?
sure.
April or February?
No, the draft is in April. It's always been in April. It's like
Holy shit! They talk
Yeah,
about
so,
the for all these months. That's insane. I
yeah,
thought
man,
the
that's the
draft.
thing. So
I
that's
thought
we
it
how they
was
will.
talk
next
about it.
week.
The
So
Four
we'll
Letter
definitely
Network and everybody else.
we'll
That's what they're
definitely talk
excited
about
for
it
you.
again. Make sure to tune in for our special NFL draft show. Maybe we'll do it live and have live reactions. We'll see. We'll set it. We got enough time to set it up. So
Yeah, I'll explain why
um,
they keep Justin Field and you trade down.
that's
Trade
what I
Curry.
hope. I hope that happens. So shifting gears a little bit, guys. So we just had the NBA All Star weekend, and NBA game started up. That was on Saturday, Sunday, right? I think Friday, Saturday. Friday was like the celebrity game, maybe some bullshit like that, and then Saturday was the 3-point contest, the slam dunk contest. Sunday was they went back to the old format, West versus East. And then what was it? The East ended up winning some obnoxious score, 211 points to I don't know 186 or some crazy shit
Right.
like that. So guys, we'll start. We started with Adan. Start with you. Just on the M. So So we're not all over the place. Let's start with. We'll work our way backwards on the NBA All Star Game itself. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Currently, how it is like right now. I know they've done different things, but right now it's just West versus East. And you saw what the final score was. As a basketball fan, I know you tuned in, Adan. Thumbs up or thumbs down for you? The state of the NBA All Star Game as it is right now.
Um, damn, that's a good question. I think I'm gonna go.
Middle.
Yeah, I was not expecting to see a playoff style game when I see the All Star game. Even in the '90s and whatever, I was just expecting highlights, right? Because
Mhm.
even back then, everybody knew it was an All Star game. What if the game was closed down in the fourth quarter? Then I think the competitiveness got there, and then it was like, uh, let's see who actually is better. But there were plenty of blowouts
Mhm.
back then too. So I'm not watching to see. I'm just watching to see good plays and highlights. I wish that they would do more of the dunking. I like the 3-pointer, but it's just now it's just like 3-point happy. And I remember liking the backboard dunks and alley oops and
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. To me, that was the exciting, getting to see the players um, play with each other, like all stars that are in different teams, like play with each other and just bounce off each other and awesome passes and all that stuff. And now it's just, and it's talent, right? But now it's just a guy dribbling the ball up and shooting a 3-pointer. That is not as fun. But I wasn't watching because I wanted to see a good close game. So I don't care either way, to be honest. I know that there's a big deal about, oh, how do we make it competitive? But it doesn't matter to me.
What about you, Sal?
Well, I did tune in for a close competitive game, but the difference, I knew that it was going to happen. I knew it was going
Yeah.
to happen. That's what I wanted. I mean, at the end of the
Aim
day,
low, baby, aim low.
50%, baby. Um, um, I was getting with this. Like I say, I wasn't expecting it. I was hoping there's in the past few years, not long ago, there's been some competitive game. Um, but they said it wasn't something I was expecting. Um, it, like it's hard to ask for them to like go ball out when the game at the end of the day is an exhibition game. What are you gonna do? And then what? So they could break an ACL or something, and then you can get shit for it for the rest of the year. It's
Mhm.
not like you're playing like bench players. You're sending the cream of the crop. So it is what it is. Like now, can you make it interesting? I'm sure you can. Right now, I just thought about when I was talking about the 3-point shot. It's boring. Like, bro,
Mhm.
it's not a shoot around. But one thing they probably should think about doing is just eliminating for that game, eliminating the arc. You can shoot. It's only gonna be 2 points. Take that shot away. You know, and maybe toss that out. like I don't know how else to incentivize it. I don't know, go the MLB route and say,
home court
winning
advantage.
conference when gets home field advantage. I guess you can, and then how do you manage it? How do some people don't care, because they're like A seeds or whatever. But with the team, the players that are, they are going out, and if you're not putting your, your best effort, then bench them. It is what it is.
Hmm.
But that's it. I don't know. I saw someone on TV talking about it. Like, and I'm not making excuses for them. I think it's different, from when we used to watch. Back then, it was All-Star Weekend. You showed up that Saturday, and and it's like now they did maybe 2009. How the players show up. I don't remember in the '90s the players showing up on Saturday unless you were participating in all the skills challenge, like 3-pointers and dunking. I remember fans and judges. But I guess what I'm getting at is like there's more people. It's more parties now. I read that people start showing up Thursdays. Players got to go to dinners and corporate sponsored events. And then it's Friday. They're doing the same shit. They want to go out with their friends and party. Saturday's like the skills is not even that good, and they fucking make it like 5 hours long. And
Oh,
like for what? What the fuck? They just condense it. But like again, everybody wants to get seen. Everybody's at the fucking court side, and what? And then by the time Saturday comes around, like they just don't give a shit. They want to go back home, enjoy take the day off, and go with family. So, they gotta make it. It's just like every fucking sport wants to make their fucking thing like the biggest spectacle or the biggest thing. Or like I'm like fucking so over it. Like who tunes in? Like a real fan, who watches this shit? Who tunes into this bullshit? They just gotta cut away from that. And then it was at Lucas Oil, right? But it was at a fucking football stadium. I don't know. Is this the first time they do that?
When?
damn, that's crazy. I
Which
didn't know
one?
The
that.
All Star game.
No, was it at a football? I thought it was at a field
No, it
house
was
or
at Lucas
whatever.
Oil Stadium. That's Colts. So like I'm like,
Jesus.
dude, like, it's like fuck, whatever. But I guess it's a money grab, I guess, and fucking it's sold out probably, and I don't know who wants to pay for it. I get their end, but at the same time, it is too much. It is too much.
Cool. All right. Now I'm with you guys. I full disclosure, I didn't tune in.
Watching
I didn't tune in. But part of it is I love the NBA All-Star weekend, but over the last couple of years, especially the All-Star game, like it doesn't attract me because of just all the things you guys already talked about. But I'm not in the school of thought that like I want the NBA to figure out how to make it more competitive. I don't think it should, like you were saying, Sal, like um at the end of the day, it's a glorified exhibition game. You don't want your best player, getting hurt. I also don't think they should like do this home field, like try to incentivize it so that, and man, just to sound old and corny, like none of that matters. The only thing that would matter is if the players cared. And I don't have enough time because I just wanted to do a quick little thing about it. But there has to be a
Come on,
reason
Grandpa,
why.
get off my lawn.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel so fucking old because if the players don't give a shit, then it doesn't matter what the NBA. They have so much fucking money. They're there for the parties. They're there to hang out with celebrities and influencers and rappers, and the game is just in the way of them doing all the things that they really want to do. So I don't think you could force the players. It's just a different generation, and yeah, I guess I do. Yeah, get off my. It's just an old man. So I didn't tune in. The only two things I would want is if the players cared a little bit more. But that I don't know how that would happen. And you know what I loved back in the fucking day, and it was a shit show. I like when it's just East versus West because I even heard them saying like, "Oh, what if we do the world versus the NBA?" Like I like East versus West. I think I'm so old that I like that you're representing your conference. You're the best of that. Like that doesn't even mean anything anymore. Like before it used to. At least I thought growing up. And then I loved when they fucking did that year. Remember? And everybody wore their own fucking jersey. Like if you were from the Lakers, you had a Lakers jersey on, and it was a fucking shit show. Like, but it's how hard is it? Like, if you were in the West, you had like a dark colored jersey. If you were in the East, you had the home jersey. It
Yeah.
wasn't that hard, but yeah, I guess visually for the casual fan, like they'd be like, "What's going on?" But I loved when they did that shit. I thought it was cool as hell. Everybody had their own team.
Yeah.
And then I just liked that it was a little bit more competitive. But you're right, it wasn't like they were fucking playing defense on every. It was still an exhibition, but what's happening right now in the last couple, like in the last 8 years, it's bullshit. Like it's not entertaining to me. Like before, I used to like to tune in because it was cool to see um, Tracy McGrady, guarding Kobe, or or T Mac guarding LeBron, or Kobe guarding LeBron for what, 3 plays, right? And that's it. That was enough to be like, oh, that was fucking cool. And then they kind of high five and be like, yeah, they don't do that shit anymore, man. Fucking, and I love the guy, but Lillard's, he's taking fucking half court shots, and why don't they just start throwing it behind their shoulder and under their leg? Like, fucking stupid. Like, I don't. And
I mean,
yeah, I do sound like an old man, but
Luka,
No, no, but I feel you too, because I think I'm probably the same way. We probably wanted the same way. They probably did care back then, but I think, like, and who knows, we can't be there. But it's probably also, like, it wasn't a spectacle as it is now, like.
yeah, you're right.
Before it would be like All-Star game, and now it's All-Star weekend, and it starts Friday with the fucking who gives a shit about celebrities? It's fucking dude. I don't even know who these people are. They're like influencers and shit, and
I don't know.
streamers from Twitch. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's what, like, oh, a Twitch streamer, blah blah blah. I don't know who the fuck. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was like I recognize a couple people, like, besides who was it? Michael Parsons and CJ Stroud. There was,
yeah.
they were, but other than like, fucking singer, everybody was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And then they had I don't know, it was like that. I know that there were like the 3 games. I probably would have tuned in for that. The rookies versus sophomore versus G League or something like
I
that.
do like that. That's a little bit more competitive, kind of. But
so maybe do that. But like, yeah, and another thing too, like, real quick, so I don't want to take all the time up. Before I was always opposed to it. Nah, fuck that. U.S. versus international. But now I'm kind of like somewhat for it, just because international is competitive, and I feel like they have a chance. They probably, man, I don't know. Like, right now, maybe they probably won't beat the U.S. And I think that's what the U.S. needs, like a nice little beating to kind of humble them. Maybe like 2-3 years in a row, like, tap them in the ass and shit like that and get their shit. And if that doesn't work, then nothing else. Like I said, I just thought about it earlier. You removing the 3-point line.
yeah, I like that. I heard that. I think that'd be a good idea.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Back to
So
the playground rules.
I went back into results, and I mean, it's been up and down forever, right? Like 1990, East won 130 to 113. That's not close. 1992, West won 153 to 113.
Oof.
That's fucking 40 points,
West was solid that year.
Yeah, that didn't work. 97, 132 to 120. 2007, 153, 132. Just some of the recent ones, right? I think when they were doing the teams, and then each quarter mattered. Which, remember, whenever whichever team LeBron or team Durant or Giannis won, then that quarter some money went to something. Like, we had 148, 145. We had 157, 155. We had 163, 160. That we had those 3 close games in the last, other than this one, but
fair enough.
That seemed to work a little bit.
The kind of the
incentive of, like, every quarter matters.
Yeah, I wonder.
Every quarter there's a donation. One really quick. What do you guys think if they do like a one-on-one exhibition instead of a team all-star? Like, you have fucking Durant versus LeBron James to 21, or Tatum versus Brown to 21, and fucking Jokic versus Embiid. Like, fuck it, just do one-on-ones, and then you do like a little tournament.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd watch that. That'd be interesting.
But when they take that serious, they're probably
first, everybody. You heard it here first.
Yeah, they're not work. No, the 3-point line there. You heard first too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you mentioned. I saw some like and this is like recent guys. Something. Did you see it? 2022 is a 3-point game. Did you read those scores?
That's the one he was just saying 165, 168 maybe, or something.
163, like 160. Okay, that's it.
163, 160. Yep.
And then in 2020 it was a 2-point game.
Exactly.
So yeah, 2018, yeah, it was a 3-point
That's
game.
the
but
one
yeah.
that's the one that was in Chicago. That's the one that
Yeah.
LeBron hit that was it the one that LeBron hit that fadeaway to end it?
Oh
Possibly.
yeah.
Could.
So you're right. Like that is true. When they and I don't know why they went away from it. Probably because it was so fucking confusing, you know. And they gotta at the end of the day, it's an exhibition game. They gotta cater it to more casual viewers, you know. Um, but that's a great segue. Thanks for bringing up LeBron James. I don't know how long we went before talking about LeBron James. So
Let's love this
shifting
guy.
on to the shifting off to the next subject. No. Um, and I already had shared this with you guys, but I wanted to get your feedback for the show. You know, I heard the dumbest shit the other day, and I couldn't like. I know that you gotta get ratings and stuff, but Stephen A. Smith, you know, his
Yeah.
this asinine comment he made, and his comment was that he blames LeBron James for ruining the slam dunk contest because you know I guess he wasn't a fan of this year's slam dunk contest. Um, and then he just talked all this nonsense. But to not to spend too much time on him, he said in his opinion, LeBron James ruined the slam dunk contest, and that's why it's watered down, and that's why we have what we currently have. So we'll start with you, Sal. Like, I mean, what do you make of a comment like that? What do you agree with Stephen A. or?
No, because it's at the end of the day, it's a dunk contest. What the fuck? Like
Mhm.
nobody signs in because like, oh, so and so did it. I think when people do it, they want to showcase their skills, you know. And if you got hops and you could dunk, you're gonna do it whether Jordan did it or LeBron did it, you know. And like I said, it's always had its ups and downs, peaks and valleys. It's not like prior to Jordan, like these fucking contests were fucking out of the water, you know, like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing, you know. But yeah, like before 2003, I was looking at 2003 had Jason Richardson. That was a fucking he's
Hell
an
yeah.
awesome dunker. He before prior to that was Jason Richardson, Vince Carter 2000.
Whew.
Yeah, Kobe 97 was that was great. Brent Berry 96. Harold Miner
He
was
said
okay.
Kobe's not that great.
No, his dunk contest wasn't that great. His dunks weren't
Uh,
great.
the
You
Kobe
know, like
one?
That was
yeah,
pretty good.
Kobe was
nah,
good,
get out
man.
of here.
Think about
Yeah.
when it was. It was before Vince Carter, so his dunks were still pretty nice.
Yeah.
But Harold Miner had better ones. Fucking Dominique. I mean, whatever. But
Isaiah Ryder.
he did just like the basic. Oh,
I just remember
and
behind the
the
back.
You
dunk.
just hate him. You hate
No, they weren't that
Kobe.
great.
You hate
Come on,
Kobe like
no,
Luis
no.
hates
I'm being serious.
LeBron.
No. It's just serious. It's like let's go back. They weren't like all right. You know, they were all right. You
Between
remember
the
the Vince Carter dunks?
legs.
Can you tell me the Kobe dunks?
What?
I'm sure you can remember the Jason Richardson and the Vince Carter dunks. Can you remember
Yeah.
the Kobe dunks? What did he do?
Between the
I just
legs.
he did it between the legs, and I
How many
remember
times
one
he's
where he
done that
did it
before?
around. He just looked cool. It was just a regular dunk, but he like wrapped it around his legs were like up all really high, and
And to be honest, the guy had nothing else to do. You know, like that guy was riding the bench. He was scoring like 5 points a game, right? Wasn't he doing
yeah.
like 12 minutes a game? You know, so and he liked the spotlight. You know that was him. Like I'm gonna be out there, get the spotlight, and fucking if I'm not fucking gonna be starting, like I gotta do something my rookie year. But anyway, it's not even about him. But I said, and then I said after that, you said like Griffin was good. So like, what happened when there was Aaron Gordon and Levine?
Shit.
You know, does he get credit for that?
That
You know,
was
like what the
awesome.
fuck? You could say fucking he didn't show up and he fucking made room for these guys or whatever. But I think the only time it got like less interesting for me was the whole Nate Robinson shit with Dwight Howard.
Okay.
You remember when he was like fucking he got
Yeah,
unlimited dunk attempts and like from there it lost some of its luster. It
I
did.
gotcha.
But LeBron, like, who the fuck would it like? It's fucking Steve Asinine. Just fucking tell me what could have happened if he did it and he won it. What would have happened since then? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Could have, would have, should have. Just shut up. He just the only thing to me it is like he's fucking out, fucking rubbing shoulders with Michael Jordan and got and fucking he's fucking just fucking every all Jordan. That's all it is. And he's fucking just riding him. But yeah, he's just fucking. I thought that thing. Fuck that, man. It's a dunk
Yeah.
contest.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, it just makes absolutely no sense that one person ruined the competition, right? So like Sal mentioned, if LeBron had done it his second year in 2004 and won or lost or whatever, it's 20 years from now. So
Yeah.
what's the, and if Kobe was so great, why didn't he save it? Like if
Bingo.
if one player can fucking break it, then how come all these other great dunkers couldn't save it? And I'm sure that if we look up the history, I know Kenny Smith said it. I'm pretty sure Stephen A. probably said the same shit, that the whole Levine, Aaron Gordon, I forgot his first name, Jones. I bet he said, "Oh, they saved the dunk contest." I'm pretty fucking sure because they
Sure.
were awesome. The dunks that Aaron Gordon and Levine were executing were fucking amazing. So yeah, if LeBron had done it 2004, 2005, that wasn't going to change anything that happened after that and what we got.
Yeah.
Maybe what they should do is, you know how the people vote on all-star
Mhm.
members, maybe we should vote on the dunkers. So there should be a list of people that are willing to participate. Because the thing is, the talent of the dunkers is not that great, right? The ones that participate. Remember Tyrese Thomas saying he
Oh my
signed up
God.
so that he could get the 100K. Do you guys remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So if we have people, I know Morant is injured, job, but like if we get the good dunkers to like, just put their name out there. We got Zion, we got Ja, we got, there's options. They
Yeah.
just none of them were available this year. It's the same thing, peaks, but no way. LeBron, like Shannon says, he's an in-game power dunker.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I agree with both of you guys. I will never pass up an opportunity to, you know, reinforce why LeBron is a fraud, as the greatest player of all time.
Fraud.
But that's asinine. Like when he said that, like, and I can't even. Sal said it already. You said it, Adon. Then why didn't Michael or Kobe or all these guys save it? Like, why does it fall on LeBron? I I I understand what he's saying to a point. Like, maybe in his opinion, because LeBron was the biggest star in the NBA, and then he decided just never to do it. Then he thinks that's the reason why other stars didn't. I don't agree with that. Just for the reasons you guys said, there have been really good dunk contests, and then you stole my thunder, Adon. Like I think at best what they can do just to make it more entertaining for the fans is, qualify some of these dunkers. Like if it's either through voting or they have to qualify for it, so that you don't just have um I don't mind even random guys because it's a dunk contest. So um then to stay true to my form to talk shit about LeBron, I don't think he would win the fucking thing anyway. So I mean I don't see if he participated or not. Who gives a shit? He wouldn't win because his dunks only look good when nobody can touch him and the referee's blowing a foul and he's celebrating himself. But when when
That
there's
is a dunk
nobody in front
contest.
of him that has to like be scared to get called on a foul and a referee to blow it, I think it's gonna be pretty lackluster. But there are some guys that are good in-game dunkers. Like LeBron's a good in-game dunker, right? Morant is a good in-game dunker because he's trying to always dunk on fucking somebody. Your boy Westbrook, Sal, is a good in-game, because he's trying to fucking kill somebody when he's dunking. But then there's some guys that they just look different. They could jump higher. They're smoother with it. They stay in the air longer than other guys. They can't fucking play defense or shoot maybe, but they could they have a different gift, and then that makes for an exciting dunk contest. So I think you guys are both right. I thought it was asinine when I said that. When Stephen A. said that, I'm like, I just didn't. I mean, he's just. I feel, man, he's like running out of shit to. I think he's letting it get to him. This LeBron Jordan thing, like he's just
No, he's writing him because he's
pulling
fucking.
straws, man. Like
One thing I
that's
would add, I think that the incentive for winners this year was like 105K. I don't know what it was in the 80s, or 90s. Well, let's say 10, 20. Back then, if it's in the 80s, if they just say, and I don't know, maybe there was no prize, but they said 10,000, people would probably sign up for it because 10K was like a decent amount of money back then.
go to the casino.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but then they fucking blow it out of proportion, bro. Like they fucking like you see those dunks in the 80s, and like there was nothing. There's some people that stand out, like fucking like
Yeah.
Jason Richardson, Vincent Carter.
Mhm.
Like to be honest, like even in hindsight, Jordans were cool, but when they're in slow motion, watch those games. Like it's like it was either a two-handed dunk or 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 windmill, or a windmill from this side, a windmill from the other side. Like it's like it was all a fucking overblown, just kind of glorified contest. It wasn't, it's not until like Richardson and Vince Carter, you were like, what the fuck? In hindsight, you didn't see none of that, so you did appreciate, oh shit, damn, Jordan, when he did that, fucking, he looked sideways and Dominique tomahawks, whatever. But fucking people just like whatever. Like I said, and it said now, even I think nowadays, like $1 million, like these motherfuckers are paying God knows how much money. Like, are they gonna fucking
Mhm.
blow out their knee for $1 million? $500,000 after taxes and shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Oh,
I do want people to participate and show. There are some like, and I was like, what the fuck? At the end of the day, they're human, right?
yeah.
So like, what do you expect? They're not fucking superhero Spider-Man that is gonna do fucking 360 somersault, but fucking I've seen, and I've stood forward it. There's some like amateur or professional dunkers, whatever, that do get some. They get really creative, and I said some of them, gifted. They have, they're a little lighter, smaller. They fucking stay up there. They're fucking. And I'll see if I can find the clips like maybe open it up to amateurs.
Oh,
Not
that'd
just.
be dope.
You want to see that? I'm telling you, I've seen some of the stuff. It's just like if the NBA doesn't want to do it, show it to. But at the end of the day, I'm saying I do want to see some good dunk content, but
Good shit.
fuck Steve.
Adan, how are we doing on time? I lost track over my fucking timer.
I think we have about 10-15 minutes left.
All right, so then,
Plenty
real
of
quick,
time.
we'll wrap it up. So I'll just take a yes or no on this, guys. I saw a little blurb that in Australia, Luke Longley, Scottie Pippen,
Oof.
and fucking Horace Grant are because the people wanted it, as they put it. They're doing kind of like a press tour to talk about the Last Dance and how it was playing with Jordan. So I just want to know, would you guys, is that pique your interest? Are you interested in that? You're gonna check it out? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
It should be yes for all three of us.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Is that
It,
how everybody feels?
yeah, it should, because if anybody says no, you're just a Jordan fucking fanboy, and that's all it is. But like I said, I don't want to like, cut you off, but like yeah, I want to see like some of it's small like bullshit. We talked about it, then
Yeah.
I don't like it that that I think Jordan did make it about himself. He made it a puppy. The people and tell you, well, Jordan's the only one that matters. Like, no. The whole point of that year, them following that team, was to follow that 72 and that's what I want to see. I already know Jordan's fucking story. Yeah, he fucking got cut in fucking high school and he hates his coach and fucking he had animosity, all that shit. I seen Rare Up There and what's the other documentaries that he came up with? It was the same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Those documentaries, when we were kids, air up there, rare air up there, or whatever.
Yeah.
All these fucking.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was the
that.
same.
Yeah,
It was the same stories. It was the same stories, and like I said, I just think it took. I was kind of annoyed. I don't want to be like a Nancy, but I just thought that it took away from the team. I want to see what the practices were like, what happened before and after certain games, some strategy, what happened. But nah, it was fucking. Oh, growing up against the Pistons in the '80s and blah blah blah. Like, who gives a shit, bro? Like that just kind of pissed me off. And like, like I think he probably bullshit sometimes. And for them to upset, get these guys upset and to do this no bullshit tour or whatever. I think he's interested. I want to see what they have to say. Like I said, I'm not gonna fucking completely believe everything they're gonna say, and they might budge, but maybe they're probably pissed off. But I think that they have more truth than anything,
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, definitely gonna listen. Interesting that it's in Australia. I don't think Longley has said anything. I know Pippen and Paul Grant have said stuff. And I mean the stuff about Jordan when he talks about himself and everything that happened to him. To be honest, that didn't really bother me that much because I don't think he was exaggerating too much, right? Like he is great. I think it's a little bit overboard when people look at highlights of any player and they're like, "Oh my God, that's it. This guy's the greatest ever." Because you could put highlights of anybody. You see highlights of Vince Carter dunking on people, fadeaways. You're like, "Holy shit, this guy's better than you know." Like it's just fucking highlights. But what I do want to hear is because he threw people under the bus. That is why these guys are speaking out. I have nothing against what Jordan. If it was, they call it a last dance, but if it could have just been like, you know, a history of him, that was fine. Talking about all the 80s and all that shit that happened to him, that's fucking great. I didn't watch the other documentaries. I know there's other ones, but I didn't watch them. But, you know, to talk shit about Horace Grant and Horace Grant going to reporters and giving them stories and Scottie Pippen migraine and Scottie Pippen, like, you know, not checking into the game. Like that didn't have the place in that documentary.
Right. No, you guys said it perfectly. I'm super interested. I can't wait to hear it. And man, I don't know how this is gonna. So I'm surprised they're doing it too. So I'm interested to see the dramatics and you know, for every reaction, there's right for every action, there's a reaction. So I doubt that Mr. Jordan will just you know take the high road and let it be. So I think this is gonna keep going, man. So
I've never heard Jordan respond to anybody. I actually do think he's gonna take the. I think Jordan
right.
just cancels people from his life.
Sure. So let me rephrase that. I guess it just depends on like if they're kind of like politically correct about it and they just say enough where he's not interested in response. But you know, I don't know. What if they feel really comfortable and they say some pretty
He was cheating on his wife.
something
Gambling,
where he's
fucking.
like motherfucker.
You
Like I'm
already
gonna say
we already know that, right? Jordan was fucking cheating all the time.
Juanita Jordan, yeah, man.
Yeah, there was no social media back then, but I'm sure.
No, yeah.
I'm
All right,
sure.
guys. So
But yeah, I said, let me real quick. I said,
Yeah.
because I was just annoyed. I said it was like I said, he already had his "Come Fly with Me," Above and Beyond, some other documentaries in the '80s and '90s. Like, some shit. Michael's back, and those are the same stories he just fucking told over. And I said, and the whole purpose of the documentary was because they were speculating that it was their last year, and the cameras, you know, like, and you probably remember this. I don't know if I'm just the whole purpose. They wanted to follow that team to document that Bulls dynasty's last year that might have been together, and Jordan didn't want it, and they kind of convinced him, like, look, we're not gonna. How about we record, but we don't release it, you know, only on, with with your seal of approval, with your okay, you edit it, you tell us what you want, and he's like, fine, but he had no intentions until now, and like, I don't even remember, but it's my belief in others, like the only reason he gave the green light was because that's when LeBron came back from 3-1 against a 7-3 win team. And then months later, you know, when everybody was like, "Oh, he passed Jordan, he did this," and all of a sudden, months later, he greenlit the project. Yeah, let's do it. And then it wasn't even about that team. Like I said, he wanted to make up himself, how he came up from the '80s and had nothing, and you know how he built and how these fucking scumbags. He did it with these scumbags. He carried his team, and he fucking, you know, and that's what it took away from. That's what pissed me off. Like I said, it was supposed to be about that team. The last season, you know, what would happen? And Luis, I think you agree with. You may not want to say it, but I don't know. Maybe you don't agree with it, but that was my takeaway. I thought it was my takeaway.
Man. He was snitching. Remember, like he went in there and they were doing coke, you know, and he was a rookie. Like, he was just
yeah. What happened to players' team code and stuff like that? You know, what were these stories before? You know, he just had to throw these motherfuckers. Like, oh no, that's why I didn't was. That's why I was losing. Fucking motherfucker had fucking Gervin and Orlando Woolridge and fucking Charles Oakley, and he's still getting fucking. You know, those guys are not fucking bumps or whatever. Fucking, you said Orlando Woolridge, fucking Gervin, guys like Oakley, you know, fucking making the fucking playoffs with 30-something wins and shit. I mean, come on, man, fucking.
It's pretty
but
weak,
whatever. But
pretty weak division making the playoffs with 30-something wins.
Yeah, people fucking.
All right, so
What?
we're almost out of time. But
You
it
don't
was a
care
good.
to
No,
respond
no,
or
no.
no?
It was a
we
good
got
documentary.
like 5 minutes, Luis. So
Yeah.
I heard that Canelo said he's not fighting Terence Crawford because he has nothing to gain and everything to lose. What else have you heard?
So this is the thing. So that's what I wanted to wrap up with. You know, we've talked about Canelo in the past. We've
Fucking
had some
scumbag.
heated debates about, you know, him fighting David Benavidez, who is his mandatory at 168. David Benavidez has been his mandatory for some time. I think a lot of people want to see him fight, right? And Canelo has been pretty quiet about it. So so right now, he had made an official announcement. It was speculated that in May he would fight the other Charlo twin, which is a bum fight. You know what I mean? We just gotta call it as it is.
What?
And
The
then
guy's undefeated.
I'm just saying in the stage, but he was
Okay, devil
inactive for so
advocate.
long, and then he So you're right, he is undefeated, but the fight, just like a lot of other fights, it's a couple years late. And
He's
Charlo
small.
is. I'm just saying. Let me put it this way, Dan. I don't want to badmouth Charlo because he is undefeated, and you know, he's not a bum. So I shouldn't call it a bum fight. That is not
It's pretty close to pump fight though.
that is not the best fight. That is not a superstar fight.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
he's
I mean?
not. Yeah, he's not a bum, man.
He's not a bump, so I don't think he's a bump.
He's been
It'll be a
inactive.
cakewalk for. It'll
I'll
be a
give you that.
cakewalk. It'll
No,
be a
it's not,
cakewalk.
bro. I don't
That
think it
is-
is. I'll give you that. He's been inactive, but dude, this guy is like ranked number one, number two in his
Yeah.
division.
So
In
like,
his
you know,
division.
like the guy that's come back right now to
Ding
fight
ding ding
Sue.
ding ding.
What's his name? Like their best work is in their past, right? It's the name, right? It's recognizable. It's what they've done in the past. But what have you done lately? You know, that's the way I think of Charlo. So, but then he announced like, hey, I'm going to fight. Not him. It was speculated he was going to fight Crawford, which is kind of a circus fight because Crawford has to go up so many weights. But you know, big money. A lot of people would tune in. Crawford has, you know, is boxing in the best boxing of his life, and you know he's very confident that like, hey, I'll go up and make history and I'll beat. So I think that was going to be a very competitive fight. But you're right, Adon. Canelo came back, and this is what he said. He said, hey, got everything to lose. I got nothing to gain because if I beat him, they're gonna say he was too small.
Because
So
of people like
that's
this guy.
off the charts, right?
Mhm.
That's off the table. So right now there's nothing, you know, we don't know if people still think that he's either gonna fight Charlo or Munguia in May. Who knows who the fuck he's gonna fight in September? Now, since
Munguia will be a good fucking fight.
it'll be an entertaining fight. I think I would rather see Munguia than Charlo. I'll tell you that. Not because just because Munguia's undefeated too. He has a padded record. I like him as a boxer. You know, he sucks at defense. You know what I mean? So he would be an easy target too. Again, but I would prefer that just entertainment wise versus Charlo. David Benavidez has made no secret that he wants Canelo. He's at 168 now. People will say uh that he's fighting, you know, he's trying to stay to get that Canelo fight, but he should move up like uh up a division to 175, which would be more of his fight guys that are kind of more his size, his weight, his natural weight, and all that. And not supposedly, his team announced that he's going to move up to 175. They kind of said, fuck this Canelo noise. We're not waiting around for him. And then he's going to fight a guy, I can't pronounce his fucking name, Alexander Gavotsky in June, and it's for an interim belt, hoping that then whoever wins that interim belt would be the mandatory for whoever wins from Bivol and Better Beef, which is an amazing fight
Yeah.
overall, right? So great for David Benavidez, but he wanted the Canelo fight, right? So that's a long-winded way. That's kind of bringing everything up to speed. So, um, Adon, we'll start with you. Yes or no? Just yes or no? Is Canelo Alvarez ducking David Benavidez where we sit right now with all the information that we just got updated with?
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
I don't want to.
Let him think about it. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Well, you got an answer now? Are you being honest now? Or are you gonna think?
I mean, my initial thought is yes, but I think he's
Okay.
doing it. I don't think he's doing it because he's scared. I so that's the word ducking sounds to me like okay, he's scared of him. I don't think that Canelo's ducking him because he's scared. I think he's looking at it as a business decision, and I don't think just like the Crawford thing, he's like I have everything to lose, nothing to gain. I think he might be seeing the same thing with Benavidez. Like there's another guy that is, like Bival is just maybe Bival gave like straightened out his mind that dude you were going too fast when it came to the moving up, and there's some guys that are just too big for you. So
Sure.
yeah,
Okay. What about you,
I,
Sam?
I think I said you're making excuses. You mean to tell me Benavidez and Canelo wouldn't be a bigger draw than a Charlo fight? And
yeah.
the thing too, and the whole thing about, and I get it. Maybe it's possible him talking about, nothing to lose. No, what was it? Everything to lose, nothing to gain from Crawford or whatever. But what was that energy when he fought Amir Khan? That motherfucker was so much smaller
Mhm.
than him. Charlo, the one in May, he's smaller than him, but he's still gonna fight him.
No.
And then you got Benavidez that's right there. You know, so it's like he's making excuses, and whether he's scared or not, you're making excuses and you're avoiding the fight. So you're ducking. I don't care if you're scared or not. I don't care what your motives are. You're ducking. You're ducking.
Well, he started down at 140, right? So everybody forgets that Canelo has gone up in weight as well.
Yeah.
He's was fighting Mayweather at catchweight, so he was down there, and he's moved up. I don't know how many, like 4 or 5 weight classes, right, from where he started to now. So why can't we give him credit for doing that? If he did it, why can't other fighters that are below him not move up in weight class like he did? So he moved up to fight bigger fighters.
No.
So we don't give
I
him
mean,
credit for doing that. I mean, right? He beat Caleb Smith, like he beat some light heavyweights, and he wasn't a light heavyweight, so he moved up.
yeah, but I mean, there's also like
Yeah,
the
but
talent of a
yeah,
no, no,
but
no. Listen,
uh,
no. I mean, like a guy like Amir Khan, like yeah, I get that, but I mean, that guy's smaller and he was already at the end of the career and shit like that. Like, I get it. You moved up and he's up there already, but you're living in the past now. Like, fine, he fought Mayweather. He was an idiot for taking that fight. I mean, I guess I give him credit, but I mean, I knew going into that fight he was done.
they looked them up. He fought in 6 different divisions, so that he
No, that's
up
great.
six
That's awesome.
times. Okay,
But
well,
what you did in the past now is not going to excuse you from like, doesn't mean like, oh, now you could just fight whoever you want and just fucking avoid number one contenders and shit and just
no,
you're still
right. And
fighting smaller.
I think Luis is you're probably gonna mention this, right? Like I think that the division is saying this is mandatory. You have to make this fight happen, right?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yep. And then
You're talking about
conveniently,
Benavidez.
I
To
forgot I
Benavidez,
left a
yeah.
big I
Yeah.
fucked up. I said this whole thing and then I not conveniently, I completely forgot to mention one other piece, but I'll wrap that up too. So look, so I'll bring it up here, right? I'm a big Canelo Alvarez fan. As a I think he's an entertaining boxer. I'll tune into all his fights. Doesn't matter who he fights, right? But he only has a couple of fights left in him. And as a boxing fan, I want him to fight the best. I understand why he takes Charlo fights because that fight is still gonna make him. It's not like if he fights Benavidez, he's gonna make double the money. He's gonna make similar type of money. So like I understand why he takes certain fights, right? Um, the thing with Canelo that I've never seen him kind of back down from anybody. He always fights the next guy that's in line, or there's always somebody challenging him and calling him out. Like, he's the big money maker, so he's always getting called out. I'll be honest with you, I did not like his stance on that Crawford thing. Sal's right. He hasn't had a problem fighting smaller guys before. I felt that way. Like that's why I call it a circus fight because Crawford has to go up so much. But I have a lot of respect for Crawford too. I think it would still be an entertaining fight, even if Canelo won. You know what I mean? If Crawford were to beat him, that would be. I just think that I think highly of Crawford's boxing skills, where I would still be interested, intrigued, and tune in. But at the end of the day, there's weight classes for a reason too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So even though what Canelo said isn't wrong, like if I win, but that's not true, man. You're beating another undisputed champion, you know? And yeah, there's always going to be people haters saying, "Oh, but you know, he picked
Yeah,
on the smaller guy."
like this guy.
Yeah, but
No,
you're
no,
not fighting.
it's
You're not fighting for the haters. You're fighting for legacy. At the end of the day, it's gonna say, "Hey, this guy beat, won all these weight divisions. He beat all these champions. He beat another undisputed." Like I think it's still pretty historic. I don't like that he's like to me it sounds like he's nervous to lose at this stage of his career. And I don't like that. Like if you lose, you lose. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be somebody younger, and fucking Chavez got his ass whooped at the end of
exactly.
his career. Does anybody think like, wow, he really fucked up at the end, losing, to De La Hoya twice and all these other bumps? Like even
If you're
Mike
gonna
Tyson,
lose,
you lose, right? Like
and if you're gonna lose, Benavidez is a hell of a guy to lose to. Like shit, you know.
yeah, so now I've always defended like the way I don't, me and Sal don't see eye to eye on this. I do think that, like even though if a lot of people don't like it out there, Canelo has built a career where he is in a position to, man, I'll just fucking retire. Yeah, I want to fight that guy. I'm gonna fight him. Like he doesn't have anything to prove to me. But as a boxing fan, I do want to see him fight the best. So I didn't like because at first I'm like, if he's gonna fight Charlo and he's gonna fight um Crawford in September, like man, that's good. Then why would that stop him to maybe setting up in a fight with Benavides in the future? But I just didn't like the energy when he said that on the Crawford one. It kind of made me like look sideways, like oh man, now it's like you know, like so now who the fuck are you gonna fight if it's not Crawford and you don't want to fight Benavides? Like who the fuck are you gonna fight in September? And you don't have that many fights left in you. And then the other thing he was complaining about, and I don't, this is all like speculation. He wanted a certain amount of money to fight Charlo because part of his contract dictates that. I think it was like $35 million guaranteed, besides whatever else he's going to get paid on pay-per-views and tickets and all that shit, right? But the PBC didn't want to give, his the people that have to pay him, right? They didn't want to give him that. They said, no, 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 we're not going to give you that if you fight Charlo, but we'll give you that if you fight Benavides, right? And all speculation. This is not directly from, supposedly today, man, I just fucking saw they anteed it up. The Benavides promoter said that PBC now they're offering Canelo supposedly 55 million guaranteed, way more than before if he fights Benavides next. Like now they're calling him out. They're like, all right, you wanted your 35 guaranteed, we'll pay you 55, and you fight the guy we want because kind of like what Sal's saying, we feel that's gonna make more money for us than if you fight Charlo. Now is that all true? Is that not? Is it all? Are they just throwing shit out there, right? But for the first time, yeah, man, I'm a little like not feeling the energy from the Canelo camp. But nothing's been done. He hasn't even announced an opponent for May. He hasn't
Right.
announced an opponent. All speculation. It's not a good look so far, though. And the last thing I'll finish off with this is one of the things. Like I respect Canelo, but he tried to get too cute going up and fighting these older um light heavyweights, to get some to get to different weight divisions. And then he went into a fucking brick wall when he fought Bivol, and his punches did nothing to him. Like he's worked in the past, right? Now, to his credit, he's like, "Hey, I want to fight again. I want to fight again, and I want to fight again at the weight that I lost. At Bivol's weight." And supposedly Bivol's like, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to come back down." Um, Fight at a lower weight, and then I will do the fight. So then that's when negotiations broke off. And then now comes Benavides, who's a fucking young, strong, um, big 168. So it's kind of like he's like, hey, you want to fuck around with these big boys? So hey, let's fight. And now Canelo, it almost feels like he's like, oh man, kind of like what you said, Adan. Like I think he takes pause because I'm like, man, I fought a more technical fighter, a good fighter in Bivol, and now I'm gonna go up against a fucking just as a big guy, but fucking more aggressive and stronger, like you know, I don't think there's a lot I can do. But he did that to himself. Nobody told him to go up those many weight classes, you know. So I'm kind of bummed out. But nothing's been said, nothing's been done. I'm not loving the energy of the whole situation. But I'm hoping that the 11th hour, he says, you know what, fuck it, I'll fight Benavides. May kind of takes an approach like, hey man, I fucking win, I get knocked out, I lose by decision, whatever. Like, you know, gotta keep fighting the best. And when you can't fight the best anymore, then maybe it's time for you to hang them up. You know, that's
Yeah.
usually when most great fighters hang them up, when they can't even beat a bum and they're getting knocked out of the fucking ring. You know,
Yeah.
and it's all happened to all of them: Bernard Hopkins, Tyson, fucking
Roy Jones.
Chavez, De La Hoya, ni se diga. You know, he fucking he went like on a, I don't know, probably an 8-fight losing streak at the end of his career. You know, so Roy Jones, yeah. I mean, you see these guys that were untouchable back in the day. They're flying off the ring, but nobody remembers that. You know, they just remember that you fought the best. So I don't know, man. I'm a little nervous, but I'm not gonna give up hope just yet. Just yet.
And I would say something that, yeah, you know, like, yeah, I noticed that when you fight smaller fighters, I do. But if you're gonna fight a smaller fighter, fight Crawford. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
No, I would. That's a great fight. You know.
I mean, at least it's like it's smaller, but fucking hey, the shit. And then at one point, if I remember correctly, I think he wanted to fight Spence too, right? When he was smaller.
Yeah. So now man, that's the other thing I'm nervous. That's the other name. Spence just got fucking battered by Crawford, you know? So that's the other name that they're throwing around that he might fight.
So, I mean, I get it's not perfect. No one's gonna be equal, but like I said, you know, it's my smaller guy. At least Crawford. I mean, I don't see him losing that fight. You know, like but and him, I don't think he'll fight Benavides that soon. Just like in May, but maybe September. You know, but then who knows? Fucking Dana White has that thing going on for
Yeah.
all the so
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
so maybe not September. I don't know, but it's like I mean I'm like I said, a lot of people are, and I get it because my tarnish his reputation, his record. Like I said, I don't see like that. Like I'm like I think hey, lady career, who did you fight? Should have found earlier. Like
Yeah.
fucking like Mayweather fought you or whatever, you know. But now you you know you split it now. Now you are gonna look like a chump if you don't fight it. It is what it is, and
He's-
but yeah, it's fucking that. It's and if he doesn't, like I mean, dude, like all right, cool, whatever, you know. But then you duck him. I don't care what the reasons are.
yeah.
You duck the guy. I don't want to hear business decisions at the end of like like oh this guy's name recognition and all this shit like. Bro, if that's the point, then what's the point of being number 1 or 2 contender? Just go on fucking social media, make an ass out of yourself, fucking get a fucking a liking, and fight. Like Ryan Garcia, that guy hasn't done shit, and he's fucking fighting.
Devin
He's getting
Haney.
other big time fights and name like
Tank
dude.
and Haney.
Yeah, like dude, I get it. You have the potential, the talent, and all that shit, but that guy just blew up on social media. Like that guy's a idiot. All right, but. That'd be awesome. If Canelo fight and he beats a guy, hey, bro, that's badass. But I almost feel like Canelo's camp are kind of like, well, obviously they have to know what's going on in their own camp. Like they're keeping something from us. Like, like maybe he's hurt, or maybe he's not throwing enough power anymore, or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's not at this stage in his career. Yeah.
yeah.
So.
Like at this stage of his career, like, and as popular as great as it was, like I said, just picking like last minute no name fights just because he wants. Oh, this was for my hometown. Like, well, he's fucking picked someone. Like there was plenty of other fighters that he could have picked that he could have still beat. But he was it's not fucking so and so or whatever. And nah, bro, but
I'm interested to see. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap up. I know we went a little bit early. I mean, no, we went a little bit over late. But I wanted
just
to
wanna
throw
say
curveball.
something
Oh,
real-
yeah, go for it.
something
Hell
real-
yeah.
go ahead. Last word right here, baby. Come on, throw it
Hell
in there,
yeah.
baby.
Get it in there, Dan.
I
You
think,
threw a
I
flag
think
right there, penalty right there.
I think the assumption that that Benavides is an all-time great is just
Yeah.
throwing me off because for all we know, he could go and fight Vival and get his ass kicked. Canelo
Yeah.
can kick his ass, like Munguia, like other people can end up kicking his ass, and then at the end of the day, you're gonna get people like you, Sal, that are gonna say, "Oh, well, then Canelo beat a bum." he wasn't as good as we all thought he was. So that's part of why I think that Canelo says like he can't win sometimes, and I think Canelo listens too much to social media. I think he should make the fight. I'm not as afraid. Maybe he is afraid. I don't know, but I'm not as afraid about Benavidez as you guys are. I don't see him as that much more than a junior. I think he's a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's what I think he is.
I think Benavidez, he's a dangerous fighter because he's entering his prime like physically, and
Put down the bottle down. Put it down.
he's strong. He's a strong ass fighter. Dan, like he's
Is
battering.
that not what
he's
they were
battering.
saying about Junior? Is that not what they were saying about Junior?
So,
They did, but we saw the fights. He
but I feel
wasn't
like
that great.
yeah, it's
See,
so.
that's the other thing.
Was
So
it
he
Junior?
can't
You're
win.
right.
So
So Junior was like
No.
a weight bully, right? Like he was fighting like smaller guys supposedly, even though it was the same weight division. But I think Canelo could outbox. I don't think Benavidez is like at least this, and so that's where I get conflicted. I don't think at this point he's like an all-time held to be the all-time great, but you always fight. You don't have to fight an all-time great. You always have to like the biggest boxing fights are intriguing because there's danger on both sides. Benavidez could lose, Canelo could lose. You know what I mean? So it makes it a good fight. Like you really like. That's why we don't want to see like him fight like Charlo because yeah, Charlo's not a bum, but chances are Canelo's gonna win that fight. Um, I think Benavidez is a dangerous fight for him because he could hurt Canelo. I don't think Canelo's ever really been hurt or knocked out. So I think that's a real, it's a real concern for him or his camp. But I think Canelo will box circles around Benavidez. You know what I mean? Like without a doubt. But can he do that over 12 rounds at this stage in his career with the aggression and strength that this kid has? I think that's why there's the pause there. But I agree with you. It's not like Benavidez is like this already like known. Like he could just now he's gonna fight like the next guy he fights. These are the for him. This is the scary fight. Like he could knock out the guy in a couple rounds, for that interim belt, or he could just have a really hard time with him because this guy's gonna be a bigger guy.
Yeah.
But I give Benavidez credit, man. He's trying to fight whoever they put in front of him. Selfishly, I wish instead of fighting this guy, he would fight this other kid named Morel, who's like also undefeated. I think he's like 11-0, and he's a strong guy too. But he's a no name too. That's a dangerous fight for Benavidez. I don't. It's funny because like I don't think he would fight him just because of the same reason Canelo wouldn't fight him. He's his trajectory is if he loses to that guy, forget it. You know what I mean? It already throws off everything. So
Yeah.
but
Like you said there right now, I almost feel like now, like I know they're kind of waiting for Benavidez to take the wrong fight and lose, and say they see this guy's not that great.
that's why I was saying I'm like it would be great if Benavidez would fight a common opponent again and really knock out that guy, and then you know what I mean? Then the stage would be set to fight Canelo. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether. Hey guys, so before we wrap up, can I throw a curveball to you guys? I'm really excited about this actually. I I think you'll never expect what I'm about to do. It's a first and goat first.
Oh shit! It's
Oh, do you
about
have your
LeBron.
sound machine?
It's about LeBron, I think.
No, no. Well, no, it's not. Come on, man. This is big news. I wanted to announce it here with my two guys. So you guys are the first to know this with an asterisk. So I'll explain that later. So I just wanted to make a big announcement. It's going to be an addition to the First and Goat family. So I wish.
Oh.
Tell me if you guys could see this. Can you guys see this?
I
Oh, hey! Congratulations! Oh,
Oh shit! I can't. You can't see it. It's blurry.
Future LeBron hitter, first and go. Hey, let's just be honest.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Congratulations!
There you go.
You heard it here first. Congratulations! Can't wait to
Thank you,
meet her.
guys.
Can't wait to meet her.
Yeah.
And talk some facts to her.
So she'll be born in July, man. July
Wow.
28th. So, yeah, I wanted to announce it on the show, and I got the little thing. I was gonna do it last week, but I know you were out of commission, Sal, so we held it for another week. But we had just
Muted
let our
Poof out
family
now.
know on Super Bowl Sunday. So that's it. But we
Yeah.
haven't let any friends know yet and stuff besides our
Oh,
immediate.
now this is gonna go viral. You're done.
Yeah,
That's it, man.
yeah,
So Gerardo,
this is
Jose,
like, yeah,
that's
this is
big
how you know
news, man.
this is how you
It's a
know for sure
celebration.
they listen
Salud.
to the whole
Salud.
thing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, bro. Cheers to that.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Man,
But that's
I'm
it.
excited
Sal,
for you,
if you
man.
wanna wrap us up here?
Well, I don't know how to top that one, but again, congratulations from all of us to you. Yeah,
Thank
man,
you.
we're all excited, but let's wrap it up now. It was a great show. So nice seeing you guys again. You guys saw the new and improved Sal because we're gonna take a little time off next week. But then we'll be back for the following one. So that's it. On further review, another side show, guys. Thank you, guys.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat.